Hi, I'm Matt Hedman, president and founder of The Perfect Workout. We're really excited to be able to get a chance to meet you in person soon at your sample workout with us. In this brief video, I want to give you just a little bit more background information about our company, which will give you a better context in which to experience your initial sample workout with one of our trainers. Let me start by briefly telling you my own personal story and how our company got started. At the time of this recording, I'm 44 years old, and I actually bought my first weightlifting set 34 years ago when I was 10, during the summer between 4th and 5th grade. I guess I was a bit peculiar and unusual to get started with exercise at such a young age, but I've been passionate about fitness and exercise ever since. For many years, I considered fitness as just a passionate hobby, and it never really crossed my mind that fitness could be a career for me. After finishing high school, I went to college at the University of Washington in Seattle and got my degree in aerospace engineering, and then I got a job in the real world working at GE as an engineer. It was about 11 months after starting work with GE that I saw my life flashing before my eyes on the second floor of Building J on the GE complex, and I didn't like what I saw. For me, working in engineering in a field that didn't really involve my passions and strong interests wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. So despite having spent 4 years of very hard work in college getting my engineering degree, after just 11 months on the job, I quit and started working as a personal trainer for one of the big gym chains. That was over 20 years ago now, and I haven't regretted that decision even for a second ever since. For the first 3 years of my career in personal training, I worked for other companies as a trainer, and then it was 3 years into my personal training career that I opened The Perfect Workout, which is our company that I run and that you're learning about in this video. In the beginning, I was the one and only person inside the company, but since then, we've been very fortunate to grow, and we now have dozens and dozens of locations across the country now, and hundreds of personal trainers working throughout our company. Our mission is to revolutionize the way people exercise, to make exercise more effective, safer, and more efficient for people. And you're in luck, because later in this video, you'll learn some more about what all of that means. And then in your sample workout, you'll learn quite a bit more about how to make exercise more effective, safer, and more efficient. As far as my own personal experience in exercise, I mentioned that I started exercising and lifting weights 34 years ago, and along the way I've made just about every mistake a person can make in exercise and fitness. For the first 10 years, between ages 10 and age 20 for me, I was exercising in kind of a random way, throwing weights around in the gym and haphazardly following random exercise routines that I happened to stumble upon. By the time I was 20, I'd gotten to the point that I was throwing the weights around in the gym for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, or 12 hours of total exercise time for me in the gym every single week. Unfortunately, I'd also developed a chronic shoulder problem in my left shoulder called osteolysis. Osteolysis means vanishing bone. There was so much inflammation in my left shoulder from all of the cumulative joint trauma of throwing the weights around in the gym that my body was literally eating away the end of one of my bones in my shoulder. I went to see a doctor who was a joint specialist, and she took an x-ray to diagnose the problem, and you could see on the x-ray that the end of one of my bones in my shoulder, instead of being full and nice and round on the end of the bone, that it was flatter and reduced in size and fragmented. My body was reabsorbing the calcium out of the end of the bone, and the bone was literally being eaten away because of the inflammation that was going on there. The joint specialist recommended avoiding exercises that involved the shoulder for 2 months. So I stopped doing bench presses, and lat pull downs and other exercises that directly involved my shoulder. And after 2 months, they took another x-ray and my shoulder had healed. So the joint specialist told me that I could start lifting weights again. I did, and my shoulder just started to hurt once again. So it was right around that time that I stumbled upon a book called Bigger Muscles in 42 Days by Ellington Darden in one of the bookstores in the University District up there in Seattle. Ellington Darden used to be the director of research for Nautilus and has published over 45 books about exercise and fitness and sold millions and millions of copies of his books. In this book of his that I stumbled upon, the routines that he described sounded bizarre. I was used to throwing the weights up and down and doing 5 sets per exercise for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. The routine that Darden was describing in this book was 1 set per exercise, lifting the weights extremely slowly for 10 seconds to lift on each repetition, and in this book, 5 seconds to lower. Each set was supposed to be taken to momentary muscular failure, and in that routine, the workouts were supposed to last about a half an hour, and you were supposed to work out approximately every other day. So it was totally different from how I'd been working out myself at that time, and to be totally honest, I didn't think it would work. Fortunately, though, in one of the chapters, Darden spent some time discussing how slower lifting speeds minimize the impact forces on your joints. and that makes exercise safer for your joints. And that certainly piqued my interest because I'd had this major shoulder problem that I just started to come back again. So with the possibility of better joint safety combined with the fact that the case study in the book achieved phenomenal results from the program and had the before and after pictures to prove it, I thought, why not give it a try? And I'm glad that I did. I will say that my results were certainly above average, but when I learned how to make my muscles work much harder with the slow motion strength training method, even though the workouts were much briefer and less frequent, I personally was able to add 10 pounds of lean muscle tissue in the first 9 days of using this method. Plus, my shoulder problem went away within the first week, essentially not to be heard from again for the last now 24 years at this point. So I've been a raving fan of this method and variations of this method ever since. Compared to how I worked out before, throwing the weights around in the gym for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, I now get significantly better results from my workouts, and I spend less than 10% of the time exercising each week compared to what I used to spend. So, enough about my story. Let me tell you a little bit more about our company's mission. And again, our mission is to revolutionize the way people exercise. Years ago when I started our company, I named it The Perfect Workout because our slow motion strength training method makes exercise more effective, safer, and more efficient. It really is perfect and definitely revolutionizes the way people exercise for those of us who are fortunate to be able to use this method. And when I talk to people, there are usually 3 reasons that I most often talk about to describe why this method is perfect and revolutionary. Better results, safety, and of course it's super time efficient. As far as better results, let me visually show you one reason why exercising this way is so effective. Let me take this dumbbell right here and pretend that I'm doing dumbbell curls to work my biceps. And let's also pretend that I'm lifting the weight very quickly like most people do in most other gyms. Okay? So let's kind of look at this right here, and I'll just hold it the dumbbell loosely and kind of lift it quickly. And you can see that once the weight starts to accelerate, then it gains momentum, and it kind of can fly along kind of at least partly by itself, or even at some parts of the range of motion might even be flying along totally by itself throughout significant stretches of the range of motion. If, on the other hand, I lift the weight as slowly as I can without stopping, you can see that there's essentially no momentum involved, and the muscles stay loaded throughout the entire range of motion. And that makes it harder for the muscles, and there's some good evidence that the slower movement speed makes it more effective too. I wouldn't say that the jury is fully in on this issue, but there are 3 major studies comparing extremely slow movement speeds in weight training with more regular, faster movement speeds. And in those 3 studies, the trainees that were using the slower movement speeds averaged 50 to 59% better improvements than in the regular speed groups. So that's one reason why this exercise method is perfect. We expect that on average, people that train with us will get better results than if they use some other approach to exercise, either working out with a regular personal trainer or if they work out by themselves. Another reason why this exercise method is perfect is because it's safer in the joints and connective tissues. Compared to lifting weights very quickly, where there are significant impact forces on your joints, slower repetitions minimize the impact forces and make exercise much safer. And I illustrated how that can make a big difference in real life when earlier I described how the chronic shoulder problem that I'd had prior to slow motion strength training with myself and lifting faster is more impact forces, and going as slow as you can without stopping minimizes those forces. And so even just my own personal experience, it's not just true in theory, it works in practice as far as safety goes. And then finally, another reason this exercise method is perfect is that it's extremely time efficient. You can produce optimum fitness results in just 20 minutes twice a week, believe it or not. How is that? Well, as far as workout frequency, this is a high intensity exercise method, and the workout is a significant exercise stress for your body. Because of that, your body needs time between the training sessions to recover and adapt to the stress. If you work out too frequently, you may not allow the body enough time to fully recover, and you could actually hamper your results. And as a rough rule of thumb, once a person learns how to perform this method effectively, most people make best progress working out every 72 to 96 hours or thereabouts. In other words, about twice a week. As far as the length of each training session, once a person learns how to really push their muscles and work out with maximum intensity, you can't work out much longer than 20 minutes if you're truly generating a top intensity level. To do long, lengthy workouts, you need to lower your intensity level in order to pace yourself to be able to work out for a longer period of time. I'm a good example of this in that years ago, when I used to work out for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, I thought I was working out hard. It turned out that actually, I didn't know what hard work really is. When I learned how to push my muscles and body to work much harder with the slow motion strength training method, I found that I can only do about 20 minutes worth of exercise before I'm unable to do anymore. If I were to now try to work out for 2 hours at a time again like I used to do, I'd need to work out with a lower intensity level so that I could keep going for a longer time. The choice is to push your muscles with maximum intensity for a relatively brief period of time, or to not push yourself very hard to be able to do a longer workout. And we want to work out with a high intensity because that's what produces best results for exercise. Low intensity does not produce best results, and if you're working out with maximum intensity, you can only do in the neighborhood of about 20 minutes. So this exercise method, it really is perfect. On average, you get better results because of the higher intensity for the muscles. It's safer on your joints because of the lower forces involved, and it's also extremely time efficient. The only thing that makes it so that it's not too good to be true is that the 20 minutes are not easy. It's no fun being strapped into a machine and fatiguing your muscles to the point that they can't move anymore. I used to like for me personally, I used to like working out before I started using this method. It was fun to go to the gym and throw the weights around. I actually don't like the actual active working out anymore because the 20 minutes spent exercising are so demanding. But I do like getting better results from this method than I could before. And that's the fun part, getting better results, avoiding joint damage, and it takes a very short amount of time. Now, for the next section of this video, I'm going to show you a portion of a real-life slow-motion strength training workout. It'll help you to start to get more of a flavor of what we do before you come in for your own sample training session. The footage you're about to watch is a portion of a training session in which I was putting one of our trainers through a workout. And in the interest of keeping this video that you're watching brief, we're omitting the video footage from the first part of this workout that we filmed, and you'll be seeing just the last few minutes of the workout. So if our trainer that I'm working out appears to already be fatigued and a little winded, that's just because we're catching up with her for just the last portion of our workout. So without further ado, here's some examples of real-life slow-motion strength training exercises in action.
Perfect. Good. All right, carefully step out, and we're going to do the leg press next. Be careful here. Come on over, we'll get you in carefully. Doing great now. All right. Does that feel right? Okay. Then you scoot it up in the machine here. Okay. All right. All right. Now try to get the first inch as slowly as you can. Start pressing forward slowly. Turn around there slowly. Good speed. At the bottom, think barely touch, barely start. Turn around there. Good. Come on back slowly. Barely touch, barely start. Good. Beautiful. Keep it moving slow and smooth. Breathing's perfect. Turn around there, come on back slowly. If you can, try to keep your arms relaxed. Good. Speed is perfect. Really concentrate. Barely touch, barely start. Now start moving. Good breathing. Turn on right there. Come right on back slowly. Good. Now, I don't care if you complete the next rep or not, I just want you to push hard and slow on the next rep. And if you complete it, that's fine. Just don't worry about whether it goes or finishes or not. Just touch lightly. Good breathing. Starting. Give me 5 seconds, as hard as you can push. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly back up. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now carefully pivoting towards me. You did a great job. Careful standing up. Careful. Got your legs under you? Okay. All right. Now careful walking over. I've got a bit of a walk over here to left, hold it on. Careful. You okay? All right. Okay, carefully have a seat here. Grab onto the handles. All right. As slowly as you can, start to pull the handles downward. Good. You look great. Pause right there. Turn around. It's good speed. Good breathing. Turn around slowly. Pause. Turn around slowly. Turn on right there slowly. Pause right there. Turn around. Turn around there. Keep it moving at that same speed if you can. Hold right there. Turn around. Turn around right there. Start again. Now keep moving if you can. Keep moving. Just a hair faster if you can. You might not be able to, but just try. Keep that air flowing. Give me 5 more seconds, as hard as you can follow. 4 more seconds. At least hold your position. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up to the top. Carefully, carefully. And when you get to the top, carefully set it down. That was beautiful. Perfect. Okay, good. Now carefully step out of there. That was just right, Alex. Now let's have you come on over and have a seat right here. Okay, if you can grab on towards the top of these vertical handles, the shoulder blades pinch together. All right, last exercise. Elbows out just a little bit, and as slowly as you can, press the handles forward. Good speed. Turn around slowly. At the bottom, think barely touch, barely start. Turn around. Good. Turn around slowly. Perfect. Good. Turn around right there. Perfect. And this is when it's starting to get really productive. Almost done. Let's see if you can get another rep. Keep it moving if possible. Turn around there slowly, perfect. Stay slow on the way down. We need to try this next one. And if you can, let's try to finish the next one. If you can. Start slowly. Think of more speed. Just imagine it going faster. Give me 5 more seconds and you're all done. As hard as you can. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back as if you were going to start another. And carefully set it down. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, now just go ahead and sit right there. You can take your hands off. Just go ahead and hang out right here. I'm going to grab you some water. You did a great job.
So, I hope seeing examples of real-life exercises with the slow motion strength training method gives you a little bit of a further insight into what we do. By the way, when you come in for your own sample workout, we're not expecting that you'd be able to do the method nearly as well as the subject in the video that you just saw. The purpose of the sample workout is for you to get a first-hand experience of what we do with our clients. And we understand it'll likely be your first time ever trying to exercise this way and that you're a beginner to using the method. The trainer who was working out in the video you just saw had already been using our method for years, and she'd already learned how to do it pretty well and how to work out pretty hard. So please don't feel any pressure to do this as well as she did in your own first session. It'll just be a learning experience for you, and you'll have a good time with it in addition to learning a lot. And speaking of you getting first-hand experience with our workout, you just now had an opportunity to hear me speak for a few minutes about our exercise method and to watch some examples of slow motion strength training exercises. But please understand that this does no justice to a full explanation for our approach to exercise. You're actually going to gain a much better understanding of what we do during your sample workout with one of our trainers. It's usually at that point, when a person tries our method for the first time, that I find that the lights usually go on and they get an aha. And once a person experiences how challenging the method is, afterward, they'll often say something like, "Oh, this is hard. Now I can see how this can produce better results. And now I can see why the workouts have to be relatively brief. And now I see why you can't do the workouts too frequently." So please be looking forward to quite a bit of experiential learning during your sample workout. So that's all that I wanted to go over with you in this video today. I hope it gave you some additional information that's useful to you in learning more about our company and our personal trainer job opportunity, and that this also gave some useful insights to give you a better context in which to experience your sample slow motion strength training workout with one of our personal trainers. We look forward to meeting you.